All right. Welcome to the City of Knoxville Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm Amy Sherrill, the chair of the BZA, and I'll be conducting today's meeting. Alongside me are the other members of the BZA, and at the tables here to the side are the city staff members. Today's meeting will be conducted in the order of the agenda, and agendas are available at the front. Before we move forward in the instructions, I'll ask you to call it, please.
Okay, roll call. Amy Sherrill.
Here.
Daniel Odle.
Here.
Kimberly Black.
Here.
And we got two excused. That's Mr. Louis Urea and Brad Salisbury.
Very good. So we have a quorum. So as you've noticed, so this is normally a 5-person board. There are 3 of us here tonight, and so that means all 3 votes will need to be in favor in order for any item to pass. So we wanted to give anyone an opportunity if for that reason or other reasons there were any people liking to request postponement, now would be the time to do that. And you can just state your name and address for the record and let us know which item.
Yeah, Ben Mullins, 550 West Main Street, here on application number BZA 25-0062926 or 962 Neighborly Good Road, and that's for postponement to the September meeting.
Alright. Christina, do we need to vote on individual ones?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a request for postponement. I'll make a motion that we postpone this item to the next September meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Very
Thank you very
good.
much.
You're welcome. Join us.
Hello, Brian Lynch, Lynch Surveys, 4405 Costa Road. I'm here on BZA 25-0063, 3411 Garden Drive. I request that we could be postponed until the September meeting.
Okay, very good. We have a request for postponing BZA 250062. I'll make a motion that we postpone this to the September meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Hope it doesn't make more work for you September. We look forward to seeing you again. We appreciate y'all.
That'll be a party.
Yeah, there you go.
That was 6-3.
Oh, sorry, 6-3.
Sure.
Adam Combs here to request postponement for BZA 250059. Address is 1025 Westwood Drive.
Okay, very good. Request for postponing BZA 250059. I'll make a motion that we postpone this item to September.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Adam Combs 1025 Westwood Drive here to request postponement of BZA 25-0060 to September.
Very good. We'll make a motion BZA 250060 is postponed until September.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Okay. Yes, sir.
I'm here representing the opponent on number 59 that was just postponed. And I just want to say for the record that the opposition was present and was prepared to proceed. My name is Larry Silverstein.
Very good.
Greetings.
Greetings.
John Thurman, 550 West Main Street, Suite 300. Applicant for BZA 250064, requesting postponement until September meeting.
Very good. We have a request to postpone BZA 250064 until September. I'll make a motion to do that.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good.
Okay, see you in September.
So you're left. Okay. So and then I'll finish reading this, but also BZA 250056 postpone there's part 2 for those following the agenda. Okay, so pursuant to BZA's administrative rules, each matter on the agenda will be considered in the following order: staff comments, proponents, opponents, rebuttals, discussion among board members, motion, second, discussion among board members, and a vote. Members of the public may address the board and the following rules apply. Each person may speak once for 5 minutes and shall not have more than one time to speak, except that the chair may allow 2 minutes to the applicant for rebuttal. When more than one person wants to speak to an issue, each side is limited to 3 speakers with 5 minutes each. The board may ask questions of any speaker and may allow more time or more speakers by a vote. Speakers should limit their remarks to the facts of the case and should avoid repeating comments that have been previously presented to the board. All speakers should come to the podium, speak directly into the microphone. Speakers need to state their name and address for the record. Appeals of decisions made by BZA are made to Knoxville City Council. The petition for such an appeal shall be filed to the Plans Review and Building Inspections Department not more than 15 days from the date of the BZA decision. All right. We do not have a forum for being able to vote, so we'll postpone approving the minutes until the next meeting, and that will take us to new business, BZA 250057. We have
Should we vote on that?
Wait a minute, yeah, did we vote on that?
to postpone it.
On the meetings? Yeah, the minutes.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to postpone
Okay.
our meeting minutes from the July meeting of 2025 until the September meeting of 2025.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. All right, BZA 250057. Is the applicant with us?
Yes.
Very good. You will, as you comport, you can staff comments.
Of course. The applicant is requesting 2 variances related to a proposed secondary detached multi-tenant panel sign in the CH1 zoning district. The first request is to increase the maximum allowed sign height for a secondary detached sign from 8 feet to 30 feet. The second request is to increase the maximum allowed sign area for a secondary detached sign from 32 square feet to 180 square feet. The shopping center currently has a primary detached sign along Kingston Pike and a secondary sign located at the back of the property facing Bridgedale Drive and Interstate 540. The secondary sign will be raised by the property owner and the proposed sign will be constructed in its place. The applicant should discuss how the described hardship meets the standards for granting variance.
Very good. If you will state your name and address for the record.
Name is Lee Cowden, address is 321 Henry Street, Lexington, Kentucky, 40518. Glad to be with you all tonight. Thank you for taking the time to hear our case. I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations for BZA Properties. Our company owns and manages Walker Springs Plaza there at 8427 Kingston Pike. We've owned it for, just shy of 20 years. Out of town landlord, but very much involved with this center. I myself have worked with it for 12 years. And as mentioned in the application, what we're searching for tonight, there are 2 marquee pylon signs for this property. One right off Kingston Pike. The other is, as you look at this picture on the computer screen, the back right corner of the building. From my understanding, ever since we owned the property, we've never had engineered drawings of the sign because we weren't provided them when we purchased it. What's that mean? That means we've never been able to display more signage on the existing pylon structure, which is at least 30 feet in height. I know it is much closer to the building. For that reason, we're not able to display any more signage. So I've been in discussions and negotiations with Golden Corral. With me tonight is Larry Weiland, their director of real estate for Golden Corral, who's traveling from Florida. And a big proponent and a big reason for this application is, the undue hardship of with their particular business model, and I'll let Larry speak more to this later, the impact that not having pylon signage on I-40 makes to their businesses. It's a huge draw of attention to folks coming up and down the road. The current pylon sign itself as well has already been struck by an 18-wheeler at some point. The steel members that support that sign are bent. Here's a picture of the existing sign that he's passing now. Really and truly, as you pass down I-40, not the greatest aesthetically pleasing sign. Could be greatly improved. And within the design and what we've come up with the rendering that's on the screen is something that we would propose. It's something that I know our tenants would be proud of, we as a landlord would be proud of, and hopefully, constituents within the district would be much more apt to the sign that we've applied for. If you zoom in there, it shows Walker Springs at the top. I have to display 2 of our existing tenants. I have lease obligations to those tenants, both Ollie's and Gold's Gym. Both of those tenants are in favor and strong proponents of these improvements by the landlord. And then Golden Corral as well would like to display signage. So again, the undue hardship is if we don't have this pylon sign, their sales would be dramatically impeded, and the likelihood of us actually signing the lease and bringing Golden Corral to town would be null and void. I'll let Leary speak more to that in terms of their business structure. But for us as the landlord, the Party City space is where we're looking to occupy them, 11,646 square feet. Party City was there for quite some time. What we know we need as a landlord is another restaurant use, an affordable restaurant use within the shopping center. We've got Ollie's and Gold's Gym, Athletic Republic, a few other retail locations, a few grocers as well. We feel strongly the Golden Corral would be an excellent addition to our tenant mix at the shopping center. And having this new pylon sign where we can display them is critical in order to proceed and have them join our tenant mix. I welcome any questions, but that's really the purpose of the undue hardship and why we're here. Larry, if you'd like to speak more to the importance for your business.
Lawrence Wyland, I live in Hollywood, Florida. Been with Golden Corral for 43 years, since I'm 24, whatever the age was. I've been doing this job about 15. And I've been working in Knoxville for the last 10, trying to find a place to go. Can you scroll up to the pictures, please? When we think about Golden Corral, it's a whole new look than what it was and what you've seen in 40 years. Our new prototype, I want you to see a part of it here for a second. How it works.
It's under gateway shots.
Under gateway shots. I'm gonna follow this. So that's how it looks. So if we go into a Party City or wherever we go, it has to look, feel, taste just like that restaurant does. And the way Party City sits right now with that extended portico in the front, it would look really good. Can you go to the next picture, please? Oh yeah. Like the dining room shop. It's maybe different. That's another look at the outside.
It's under different part.
A different front maybe. So here's the dining room. Let us scroll if you will. It's the outside dining room.
It's under additional photos.
But there's the dining room itself, how it looks. You can tell it's a lot different than your normal Golden Corral you see today. We're very community oriented. We give a lot to the military. We do a lot of local benefits. So you can see it's a really good looking facility. When people do Google searches for what they want in a community, Golden Corral always comes up as top. Every city we're not in, we get thousands of ones because the reason is we're really value driven. So you can eat a Golden Corral for $15, $20. I went to Chick-fil-A for lunch today, it cost me $17. To be honest with you and with the developer here, a freeway sign for us was worth probably $500,000 business for us. Without the sign, we won't work for us. Our projected sales volume for this store here is between $5 and $6 million a year. So based on I think we had a sheet in there with investment costs, but we're at about 5. This is what our estimated cost is in the project is. We put the building at $1 million value. It is what it is. The A&E architect and engineering is 162. Overhead is 215. Put land value in. The upfit to fix the building to look like the pictures we just showed you, about $2 million. So all in, we're about 5.7. So you can see this is a very, very expensive project for us. We put $6 million in a piece of property that we don't even own, but we believe in the market, we believe in the value of the market. So I'm just asking, hopefully you understand our position and we're going in the right direction here. If the landlords foot up the cost of a new sign, we're footing up the cost of a new building, I think your community would really enjoy what we have to offer. And there's nothing along the strip that's a buffet. You've got cheddar, you've got Olive Garden, you've got Red Lobster, you've got, I can't remember all, but they're all there. But you have no really family buffet style concepts. And believe me, if you go on Google search, you'll see that it's like one corral. And we've been trying to come here for probably longer than 10 years. So I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, I'm here to help. But I think it'd be a great asset for the community. We'll do all the landscaping they want, we'll do all the lighting they want, we'll follow the rules, and, you know, it'll be a good tenant for him, but for the community, we give a lot back. We do Army veterans on Veterans Day, we do Kiwanis clubs, we do all that stuff you want to see happen in the city. Thank you. Any questions?
Not yet, at least. I believe we had someone signed up to speak in opposition. Very good.
Hi, my name is Joyce Feld. I live at 1540 Aguila Avenue, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37919. And I'm here today as president of the Scenic Knoxville. So I just want to read you a section of the ordinance and ask,
Mark.
or when anybody sitting at this table, if this applies. Section 13.9.F25.A of the sign ordinance states, the following exceptions apply to the above standards, and the above standards that they're referring to are the standards for height and sign size, sign area. On parcels and lots adjacent to the interstate, a secondary detached sign, if located within 100 feet of the interstate right-of-way, and if its sign faces are oriented perpendicular or radial to the interstate right-of-way, is subject to the maximum height and sign area requirements for a primary detached sign. So if this section applies to this situation, the applicant would be permitted to have a secondary sign at the rear of their property that's 20 feet tall and 165 square feet in area. Is there some reason why that section of the ordinance does not apply here?
It was not submitted with a scale drawing showing the distance and so that is the reasoning behind that request. That's why it was not.
Could this apply?
If
It
dimensions
was-
can be provided that says it applies, it sounds like maybe. Do you all know, does the location of the sign mean?
The other part of it is that it says on parcels and lots adjacent to the interstate. This property is adjacent to Ridgetail Drive.
Yes.
It's not adjacent directly to the interstate.
But again, is Ridgedale Drive considered an access road? Can you access the interstate?
We've had this case before. Adjacent means next to without anything similar of the like in between. And so that's why it's not considered adjacent if there is a street in between there. I don't know if you remember what was the name of the property? It's the Ghost Motel. That's what people colloquially referred to it near West Town Mall. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was very well.
Yeah. So.
And I thought, but I have to admit that I looked for it briefly and I couldn't find it, but I thought that there was some clause in the ordinance somewhere that said that an access road would be considered, that if it was adjacent to an access road that intersected with the interstate, that would be considered the same as adjacent to the interstate. But I do admit that I didn't go through the whole ordinance with a fine-tooth comb, but I couldn't find that. But somehow that's stuck in my. Anyway,
While that's being looked up, is it worth continuing? And then if
Yes.
that applies, we can bring that back to the conversation.
Yes.
Okay,
that's perfect. Thank you. Okay, so the applicant in this case has not claimed a legal hardship. The lot is not exceptionally irregular, narrow, shallow, or steep. The lot does not have any other exceptional physical conditions. And strict application of the ordinance would not result in practical difficulty or unnecessary hardship, which would deprive the owner of reasonable use of the property. And mere loss in financial gain does not qualify as a hardship. The applicant will not be prevented here from using this property as the zoning ordinance intended. It will be able to continue to operate as a shopping center as it has for several decades. In fact, if anything, the topography topography in that area actually gives the applicant an advantage. And again, I meant to submit a sign. I don't know if anybody can pull up a sign of the rear of this property from the interstate itself, but I have a clear picture of that on my computer at home. What it shows is that the property itself is significantly elevated above the interstate. And so this gives any sign in that location an advantage by making the sign even more visible than if it was parallel to the interstate. And again, I have another question. From where, because I know that the height of signs is supposed to be measured from street level, would this be measured from the level of Kingston Pike, or would it be measured from the level of the interstate or the property?
The ground at that area.
Okay, it's in Article 2.4, N3, talks about sign height. And for detached signs subject to section of 13.9F. Oh, that's the common interstate highway, which this one has Bridgedale
There we
Drive.
go. You can see how this sign is elevated above the property itself is elevated above the freeway. Thank you, whoever found that picture. Also, under the current sign ordinance, the applicant's primary sign on Kingston Pike would be allowed to be 22 feet tall. And while I don't know the exact height of their primary sign, because it did predate the 2015 ordinance, it's definitely a lot taller than 22 feet. So granting this variance would give the applicant 2 outsized non-conforming signs, which would clearly be contrary to the intent of the 2015 sign ordinance, since the ordinance was written to reduce sign clutter in the city. And as a result, Scenic Knoxville requests that we deny this variance request. And I was on the applicant, I would suggest if the access road, if Bridgedale Road does not count as being adjacent to the interstate, one thing they could do is they could request a variance in that, which would allow them to have a 20-foot tall secondary sign. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will, if I may also offer, we do have a definition for adjacent in our code, which says immediately nearby and separated by nothing of the same or similar kind.
And there, so far, we're not finding anything.
We're not finding anything about an access road being treated the same as an interstate. But, you know, we're researching on the fly here.
Okay. So next piece here would be is if there's I guess anyone else here to speak in opposition. It doesn't appear that there is. So if there's any rebuttal, you have a short window.
Sure. Thank you for your feedback and your time. From the location of the sign and where it's been designated for setbacks, I think a big part of the reason in dealing with Allen Sign Company, the local sign company, was helping us with this business to fabricate and install this proposed signage. As you look down at the road level, yes, it is elevated, but we're applying for variance on the setback because of the contours of the land and how things drop off and where we can actually safely position that sign. Again, with where this is located on the corner, it's been struck by vehicles in the past. What we're actually proposing to do is move things back towards me, I guess, or towards us as we're looking at this photo, away from a hard corner on a blind corner, tucked back closer to the building. We feel as though that'll be safer for vehicular traffic as well, as you know, their delivery trucks come to deliver produce and food, and you have the same happening for our existing grocers who are in the shopping center. So I know the location is dictated by the contours of the land and the size and the height, we felt was just trying to replicate and give similar attention to what we have existing. As you can see in that sign, it's old, it's dilapidated, it's something we're not proud of. And we want to construct a sign that, you know, we can be proud of as landlords, our tenants can be proud of being displayed on, and other tenants in the shopping center can be proud of as well. So, I guess those are the comments.
We got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I just think from a safety standpoint, I was at that sign this morning, walking around it and touching and feeling it. And that's, you know, one big wind, I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm worried about it. As we go over, we got real issues for that.
Thank you. Just gonna do my report.
Yeah.
So, from a practical standpoint, if there's maintenance, there's structural damage to it, they could repair that as like for like and leave and keep what they have, right? I mean, that's just like you could change a lens to have a new name, but you just can't change the, is that correct?
As far as if there's some kind of act of God or fire.
Yeah, I mean, so like
something
worried
along
about
those
safety of the existing, you can repair like for like and keep what you have.
That's my understanding, but let's, yeah.
Lee, it's Lee, right?
Yes.
If you could ask a question real quick. How long have you come here? Yeah, sorry. How long has your company owned the building?
Over 15 years, shy of 20, I believe my owner or principal closed on us there somewhere around 2007.
Okay. What I'm thinking about is at some point, that I remember growing up here, that part of the, I think Bridge Water, is that right? Bridgedale was added as part of the interstate construction. And it's been a long time now. But I'm sympathetic that I think this was on the interstate at one point. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's still that. Like the 1896 period.
There was quite a conversation about that access road a long time ago. There, I think it was Quality, something. I remember at the hotel.
Oh, it's a ghost hotel.
Was it? And I think at that time I was actually pro that variance because I felt like the additional construction later on changes the situation. You've taken the road work, state of Tennessee has taken away something that was once there. And probably when that sign was put up, that road was not there. And so I feel like we should, now, it's not part of this variance request, so I mean, they're not asking for us to consider that in and of itself, but in my mind, that would at least give them more than the 8 feet on the back of the property and the elevated position. And then looking at that corner, I get where that sign is located. That's a terrible place for that sign. From a functional standpoint, I understand wanting to move it. Well, if I understand that, that's my other question, if you're talking about moving towards Walker Springs.
You're talking about looking at moving it toward the right,
Away from
the Walker Springs, behind the building.
Where's the property line on the edge? How far would you move it to?
I've set it the next better.
Yeah, 20 feet. Maybe it should be on the, should be with our application.
It was written somewhere in there.
Well, where it's sitting is not good. And again, I think that if I had to guess, I would say that had to do something with the taking that was there. That center would have not most likely been positioned in that location with that little bit of land behind it. I don't know if there's any way to go back and confirm that. So I'm betting that Bridgedale's construction in some ways created this issue with the sign. And I appreciate Ms. Field's comments about asking about those questions too. Just so you know, generally, I mean, that whole signage process in Knoxville was a huge process. Publicly, that was what is in place was huge, publicly favorable. this board's been very supportive of that changing code for signage in general. So,
Yeah, and I think, you know, going back to, you know, looking at the reasons that we're allowed to grant variances, you know, looking for those hardships. This is a difficult one because just because you had it doesn't mean that there's a lot to that, but I don't know that there's any that technically qualify as things here short of, you know, possibly this consideration of does something to, would that mean it might have qualified for highway sign? At that point, would if we were looking at, you know, would you propose amending the request to a lesser amount that would be more in line with that?
well,
As part of it, I mean, I'm just trying to like,
I'm-
what, as you're thinking through that
I'm not
process.
sure the process of this is kind of an interesting question, I think, but my proposal would be to leave the height what's in the code now, but allow them interstate signage versus what they have here.
So
Well,
the 20 feet and 165 foot area.
that's what the interstate sign would be,
Right.
20 feet.
I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying, yes, so whatever the typical interstate frontage signage that's allowed is,
20 foot high, 160.
and I mean, technically they haven't asked us for this variance, but in my mind, the variance is basically considering the bridge, I want to say Bridgewater, Bridgedale, you know, the interstate, because I think in all practical purposes, it's functioning as the interstate.
I think without making a determination on any kind of an interpretation question, because obviously there's not an appeal in front of you all, it's variance request, but you could, based on the, I don't wanna say takings, because that's not what's going on here, but the intervening action of creating this road, that is the basis for the other exceptional circumstances for variance. But then that the minimum adjustment necessary would not be 30 feet and 180 feet, but it would be 20 and 165.
That's
As
what,
a
like, we're discussing a lesser variance.
Oh, okay,
Then,
Yeah.
so we could come down, because the request is 30 feet and 180.
sure,
And that's why I was wondering if that's where you headed with this,
I would
perhaps.
head there, sure, that's a great solution to that. And then I would be amenable, if we're gonna do that, to put the sign where they want and get out of the way.
So that's, the question isn't about where they located it all.
Not in my mind.
No, no variance. There is no variance about its location. They are moving it for other reasons and redesigning it for other reasons, but,
Okay,
The
just talk
actual
about moving it
variance.
to get it out of the way
Yeah.
of trucks.
so in moving it, they have to come back for a variance because it's moving. That's the only reason.
If it doesn't meet the standard.
Yeah. Yeah, so the location of it seems to be not an issue. Variances for the height in the area.
Oh, I got you.
It's just because it's moving, it has to, yeah. But, I mean, I honestly didn't even know it had any. Think of it as an on-ramp and off-ramp.
That's how I use it.
So I think that would be a more reasonable request, to be in line with treating it as,
It's an improved position.
So I guess the recommendation, we call that, to amending our variance would be to, instead of 30 feet, 180, 30 feet tall, 180 square feet, to 20 feet tall and 165 feet.
Was it 20 or 22?
20 and 160.
20 and
I think, is that right, Mark?
Correct.
you can request a lesser variance.
Sure. No, we don't have to, yeah, we can vote on it
Today.
Well, you all, I mean, if that's what, you all
You
would,
can make a
you all
motion.
could do that
I
anyway.
I can propose it.
You all could do it.
I think so.
Ultimately,
They can do what you want.
Sure.
we can make a motion, but they can reject it.
Well, they can deal with it after
Okay.
you guys decide.
Okay.
Whether you approve something they don't want, they always have the right to appeal to city
Sure.
council.
Okay.
If you turn something down, they have a right to appeal.
Yes.
Would it be measured from the level of Kingston Pike or from the level of the height of the sign?
And the level of the asphalt where we're constructing the sign.
Oh, that's what
It's
I
measured from the street level. The ordinance specifies that it's measured from the street level.
Is that applies to secondary?
So Article 2, 4, and 3C. states for detached signs subject to the provisions of section 13.9.f on property that shares a common property line with an interstate or highway, or for detached signs on property that does not share a common property line, but such signs are located within 100 feet of the right of way of an interstate highway. The highest interstate roadway surface as measured from the sign to the crown of the roadway surface on a line perpendicular to the interstate right of way, or radial to the right of way when the subject sign is located in proximity to a curved interstate right of way, may be used to determine the greatest allowed height. So it's a lot of word salad. It's a long sentence. It's all one sentence.
So is it measured from I-40 or Ridgedale,
I
or
don't know.
measured from Kingston Pike?
The highest interstate roadway surface as measured from the sign to the crown of the roadway surface on a line perpendicular to the interstate right of way. So to me, it's stating as measured from the sign to the crown of the roadway surface, which would be the interstate.
So from the crest of the interstate.
But that doesn't, that won't, that doesn't happen.
It might be more
I think it's
real.
That makes sense.
So,
It also says may be used to determine. And so if it's impractical or does not apply, it may not be used. It's basically either way. It says may be used. So we come down to an interpretation.
The proposal that we did have,
unless it's not 20 feet of the road
I think
to
you get
the
the
ground,
benefit
then
of 20 feet from where it's located or 20 feet from the crown of the right of way. That's within 100 feet.
And also, I would need to see a site plan that shows that it's within 100 feet of the interstate right of way, which has not yet been determined.
Ideally, we get a lot of these questions ahead of time, so we are not scheduling a meeting.
yeah,
You guys do what you want to do, we'll figure it out once we have the benefit of time.
yeah, I'm gonna
And
make
we'll
a,
get detailed site plans.
I'm gonna make a motion. On number 1, to increase the maximum allowed sign height for secondary detached sign from 8 feet to 20 feet for Article 13.9 F2C. And increase, number 2, increase the maximum allowed sign area for secondary detached sign from 32 square feet to 160 for Article 13.9 F2C.
so 20 and then 60.
And for that to be, can I add, from where to measure that distance from? Or it's up to determination, correct?
Yes, you can have your hardship.
Yeah, we
Basing this on.
have to do that under state law now, the motion has to be.
The hardship, is that, it is pragmatically related right next to the interstate. There's no other purpose for that sign except being related to the interstate. And it should therefore be counted as an interstate sign, because that bridge, what's it called?
Ridgedale.
Is only a service road really for the interstate.
You did say 160, not 165, is that right? Okay.
I'll second that long motion. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, the amended motion and amended variance. Deal with that about the application.
I'll send you an email tomorrow. And we'll get cleared.
Gotta be proud of us being there.
That was a lot of words.
It was one sentence.
Thank you all for.
Thank you, Joyce, for being here. BZA 250058. safe travels.
Thank you very much.
Yes?
Good luck.
All right, while they're making their way up, can we have staff comments?
Yes. The applicant is requesting one variance related to a proposed secondary driveway in an R1 zoning district. The request is to decrease the minimum required lot frontage for a second driveway from 150 feet to 121 feet. The applicant constructed the proposed driveway before receiving a variance and without a permit, which can be seen in the photo with the BZA sign at the end of the application. The property is also the subject of a zoning complaint described as running a landscaping business out of a house, parking large truck and equipment in a driveway. This has resulted in 2 notice of violations sent to the property owner, as a commercial business of this nature would not be a permitted use in the R1 zoning district. The applicant should clarify what the intent of the second driveway is for, and confirm that it is not intended to serve a commercial business of the property.
Will you state your name and address for the record?
My name is Jamie Nicholas. Address is 1209 Davis Drive, Knoxville, Tennessee, 37912.
Thank you. And can you describe your request and hardship?
Okay, I'm requesting for second driveway.
Okay.
The reason I want the second driveway because I got family come by and I want them to park not in the road and I don't make no noise. I don't want to make no noise for nobody. I'm a quiet person and it's true I got a landscaping working business in there, but when I came by last time to the city, they told me you gotta move stuff and I did. And I moved my truck, landscaping truck, and all my machine, I moved it. But also, I don't know if I can request it to keep my truck back there in my house and where the property.
I think that would be something outside of this.
Oh, okay.
This board can't help with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just making one sure. Okay, for my second driveway, what am I asking right now?
Okay, and then I guess you mentioned that there's not street parking and that you want to have a safe place for visitors to be able to park.
Yes.
Are there any other hardships that unique situations that would make this necessary?
My dad wants the second driveway, plus he had an extended part of the original driveway, and we put a variance for that too. They emailed us and then told us to put it in too, so we did. And the reason we wanted it is because celebrations, events like 4th of July or like Thanksgiving or any one of those major events, he wants, like he said, he wants a safe place for them to park. And then we have many relatives that come over and visit us and communicate with us, and he would like that because our family is here in Knoxville and some are out of Knoxville, and coming over is a great way to communicate with many different family members. Also, he wants them for graduations, graduation events. Because for me, I'm a junior at elementary STEM, and I graduated in senior year. I'm in the class of 2027, and that would be a great thing. Because on my last birthday, not when I turned 16, but when I turned 15. I had many members of my family come over, and many of them had to stop celebrating to go move their car if one of my other relatives has to go, and it was like a shock.
Yeah. I have a question for staff. Is there anyone else here to speak? I don't think there's anyone else left in the room, is there? Okay. Is a circle drive allowed in this case, or is it? And I will say, I'm like first glance looking at this, there's not, access to the back. You're driving through the grass to get to your, the drive. It's not like you're just walking next to the back of it.
So per the chart in Article 11.7, Table 11.5, for lots less than 150 feet, the maximum number of driveways is 1. It also states for single-family dwellings with lot frontages greater than 75 feet, a circular driveway is allowed.
Help me understand that. What do you think?
I'm just, so, a circle driveway would be another option. Are you familiar with what that means, the driveway? Yeah, so instead of having 2 like this, you would have 1 like that. That would potentially get you what you desire in terms of having the additional driveway space, but it would be something that's already allowed in the code. You wouldn't have to ask a variance for that. And so I'm kind of working through that. If there are potentially options that you don't even need a variance for, that would make you get what you're looking for.
Could you pull up a picture of the circle on driving so I could click?
So I will. So it would be a normal circle driveway. It would be the width of a driveway, but it would come, in and out.
But the reason I don't want that because they got a water pipe go in front.
Okay.
That's why I don't want to run over it. Okay, if I run, like you say, maybe the pipe get messed up.
Okay.
Because some cars heavy, light. But where the road up with the driveway, they got gravel, not grass. They got gravel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's why I got all the gravel and like in the street, like you see the white stuff right there now.
Mm-hmm.
I make the pipe to dig in the ditch, in the hole where the water can go through it. The water goes in the right side to the other neighbor. They got the little line right there where the water runs when it's raining. That's why I put it.
Okay.
You're talking about this little ditch right here?
No.
The white thing.
It's the white thing right there?
This white?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That is where the water goes. And I got a driveway through top of that, and I got gravel down there.
The width of the semicircle driveway is also limited to like 1 car width. It's already working to be wider.
Yes. It's limited. I'll admit. Real quick.
Circular driveway can be no wider than 18 feet. So that's
So you
about
could get
2
2.
cars.
Yeah.
It's wider than a car.
If the reason they feel like they can't do that has to do with infrastructure, is what you said.
That's what he said. Are we in discussion? Where are we?
We're in discussion.
The thing I'm pressing a little bit is I don't see a strict hardship here. To approve this on, I want to be helpful, but so hardships are just to explain real quick. Hardships from our standpoint, what we're kind of charged with are usually geographic based. Something about the land itself can also be legal, like there's an easement or power lines or something that prevents someone from building someplace. But usually it's like having a sinkhole or your topography is weird, or you've got 2 front yards and that creates a weird circumstance.
Regular size or shape.
Size or shape of your lot. It's something about your lot itself physically is the basis for the hardship. Your hardship, I think, from my perspective, is really just about I'd like to have more space to park on. And that's a completely legitimate thing to want. but it's not something that we typically are able to say yes to from our board's perspective.
This, as you heard in the last one, like we have to actually verbally put in our motion what the hardship was by state law, so that it's documented that that was an appropriate hardship. So, and that's where I'm, going back to, if it's for additional parking, there may be reasons that it wasn't your first choice, but the circle drive may be something that would allow you to achieve what you were trying to get that's already allowed. But I agree. I mean, this is a difficult one to. There's not really. It's a nice square-sized lot that it's hard to find a hardship here to help support the request.
In an effort to be helpful, I have another quick question. I've seen these systems that are made to install. They're not paving, but they are they're like a plastic grid that you can install into the ground. Is there any reason why can you put those into your? I've never thought of it before, but into your lot in order to, from time to time, support more grass parking, but it's not tearing up your yard? Or does that count as a driveway? It would.
It's a driveway.
Okay, even if it's just a grid and it's
The
not.
intent behind this, it's, the city doesn't want to have cars parked in the front yard.
Yeah.
Unless it's on an approved driveway.
Gotcha.
So you can build a driveway out of that. It's still a driveway.
Right.
It's not just structured grass.
Yeah. So for all practical purposes, then the way to get a bit more driveway would be to look at doing a semi-circle driveway, and that would mean some infrastructure consequences for you, but it could potentially provide a little bit more area. Although you are already parking three wide, so I'm not sure how much more area, or maybe there could be some. But I'm going to make a motion to deny. Now forgive me, we'll get this 2058. 2500. Make a motion to deny BZA 250058 because of lack of hardship, as we define it.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of denying BZA 250058?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so this has been denied, but you can work with staff to
Okay,
understand.
you deny it right now, like you said, if I can make the circle.
That's, and I would say follow back up with staff to understand what is allowed and see how that might be able to work for you.
In the plans review for your permit, the engineering reviewer in there, I believe it's Matt Johnson, contact him. His information is in one of those comments. Give him a call or come back down and just go with him.
Okay.
He can work with you on what kind of layout may work for you.
Okay. So you think it's clear now? Or you know?
He's gone.
All right. Well, maybe I'll come back tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And well done, by the way. You're 15, 16?
16. I just did 16.
Yeah, well done. Okay, so then we've got, next item would be BZA 250061. Is there anyone online? Doesn't appear so. So, would we like to?
Do we know what rentals you're taking?
That's ours.
So that's ours.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Is it just 6-1 or is it?
6-1's the only one left. So we can opt to hear it anyway, or we can make a motion to postpone.
I'll make a motion to postpone BZA 250061 to September 2025 meeting.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so BZA 250061 has been postponed, which takes us to the end of our agenda. The next BZA meeting will be held September 16th at 4 p.m. in the small assembly room downstairs. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.